No one thought a girl under 5 feet tall could become a sports legend. She was once abandoned, rejected, and told her body wasn't made to fly. But within her limits, she found the wings to soar. That little girl didn't have a fairy tale beginning. Just an old wooden house, an empty chair at the dinner table, and a hope that never came true. Selena Boyd was born into a broken family. Her mother, struggling with addiction, had to surrender her to the foster care system. Selena and her younger sister were sent to live with their grandparents, an elderly couple retired in a quiet, low-income town. Every morning, Selena sat silently on the doorstep, hugging the worn-out backpack her mother left behind. She didn't speak much, but her eyes were always fixed on the dusty road, the place where she last saw her mom disappear. The only question in her young heart was, if I were better, would she come back? Selena's grandfather was strict but caring. Her grandmother loved to tell stories, especially during power outages when the family would sit around a candle. In the flickering light, Selena imagined herself flying, not away to escape, but upward so the world could finally see her. Even without fancy toys or a room of her own, she created her own universe. A worn mattress as a stage, flattened slippers as springboards, and arms stretched wide like wings. The world around her was small, but inside her, a galaxy was waiting to unfold. Life with her grandparents was peaceful, but Selena often retreated into her own little world. That changed one summer when she was 8 years old. A local elementary school organized a free summer camp for children from underprivileged backgrounds. Her grandparents enrolled her, hoping she'd get some exercise and make new friends. In a makeshift gym on padded floors, dozens of children ran and laughed. Selena quietly walked to a far corner where there was an old springboard and a low bar. She watched a few kids attempting flips. She said nothing, just observed. When it was her turn, Selena stood on the board, leaned forward, and for the first time in her life, her body lifted, twisted in the air, and landed with both feet firmly on the ground. No one expected the smallest child to have the most graceful form. A volunteer coach approached her and asked her name. Selena replied softly, "My name is Selena," then looked down, though her eyes shone brighter than ever. From that day on, she arrived earlier than anyone. She set up the equipment, memorized every instruction, and practiced until her hands turned red. To Selena, each flip wasn't just a move, it was a silent declaration. I will not be forgotten. After the summer camp, Selena was no longer the same. She didn't just enjoy tumbling, she longed to fly, every single day. But once summer ended, the camp shut down. Her family couldn't afford formal training. No gym, no coach, no equipment. Only her and her determination. Selena started training by herself in her grandparents' backyard. She used an old mattress for landing, stacked bricks as hurdles, and drew chalk lines on the dirt to mark her moves. Neighborhood kids laughed when they saw her. Some called her a little circus act. Others mocked her flips, saying she looked like a monkey swinging on trees. Selena heard it all. But instead of crying, she trained harder. Every fall was a note on what to fix. Every bruise brought her closer to her dream. She didn't have fancy sports shoes, only worn-out sandals. No competition outfit, just her grandfather's faded t-shirt. But in her eyes, that was the uniform of a champion. She didn't wait for opportunities, she trained herself to be ready when they came. No one noticed, but every night, in a dusty corner of the yard, a little girl was turning pain into strength, silently rewriting her own destiny. Years of quiet, self-driven training finally paid off. At age 13, Selena was recruited into the state-level junior team after a video of her performance at a local event went viral. She stepped into a whole new world, strict coaches, fierce teammates, and daily routines that tested every inch of her resilience. Selena was the smallest on the team, yet she leaped the highest. She wasn't just talented, she was a phenomenon. Within just 2 years, she earned over 20 medals at junior competitions, and local media started calling her the Little Storm. Each time she performed, the crowd roared as she spun through the air and landed with instinctive perfection. But behind the applause were sleepless nights. Selena began experiencing severe anxiety before every meet. She feared failure, losing her form, and worst of all, being abandoned if she didn't win anymore. One evening, after a poor training session, she stared into the mirror and burst into tears. Not from pain, but from feeling not good enough, no matter how hard she tried. She often stayed up all night, writing journal entries filled with questions like, "If I don't win anymore, who am I?" No one saw that side of her, because on the mat, Selena always smiled. But behind that smile was a soul silently battling the weight of expectations, from others, and from within herself. Selena entered adulthood as a global icon. No one called her the Little Storm anymore. She was now the top contender for Olympic gold. Fans expected her to win. The media expected her to win. An entire nation stood behind her. But only she knew how broken she felt inside. During training the day before competition, Selena noticed something was off. Her body didn't respond the way it used to. Her mind blurred amidst the crowd, the cheers, the spotlights. She lost control over the delicate link between her limbs, focus, and will. It was a condition known among athletes as the twisties, when your mind and body fall out of sync mid-performance. Selena knew pushing through could result in serious injury. But withdrawing meant becoming the center of criticism. That morning when her name was announced, Selena walked onto the floor and bowed her head. She quietly stepped off the mat, leaving a stunned world behind. The media exploded. Some called her a quitter. But in that very moment, millions started to listen to a story never told before. The story of mental health. Selena faced the press with a trembling yet firm voice and said, "I am human, not a medal. Mental health is just as important as physical strength." In a world obsessed with performance, she chose to stand for herself, through a bow more courageous than any flip she had ever done.